For the first time in history, YBA is releasing multiple updates a day, and the only reason is to make this boss even harder than it already is. Love Chain, patched. Stand Disc, patched. Bowler Bras, patched. Your Own Shadow, patched. Scary Monsters, patched. Silver Chariot, patched. Almost anything you could think of to cheese this boss has been patched already. Keyword being almost. You see, there are 3 ways I know of to easily cheese this boss. The first is the TWAU Method, which Anthony talks about in this video. But the problem with this method is that you need at least 10 people, and there's a decent chance the lucky arrows won't be distributed to everyone. The other 2 methods I've found can be done solo, abusing the idol's pathfinding and using this ledge. You see, normally when you're fighting the idol, he will constantly teleport behind you and Skull Crusher. These Skull Crushers do over 80 damage and block break 100% of the time. However, if you're standing close enough to the idol, it won't teleport to you with Skull Crusher. The reason we have to use this ledge specifically is that when you deal a third of the idol's HP, he will force teleport behind you and smite. If he does this and doesn't land on solid ground immediately, he enters pathfinding mode to go around the hill and kill you. But this ledge is shorter than the other ones, so it's still close enough to where he won't automatically pathfind to kill you. Before I explain each method, there are a few things you need to know. As I mentioned before, when you deal a third of this boss's health, it starts to use its smite move. When it does this, you have to get block broken. Thankfully, unlike Skull Crusher and Heavy Punch, this move doesn't have chip damage, which means if you get block broken, it won't deal any damage to you at all. If you're hit by this move, there's a good chance your run is over. But if you're quick enough, you can get back to the ledge. And as long as you have Demon Step, it should be pretty easy to realign yourself. The next thing you should know is that after dealing 2/3 of its HP, it starts to use Beatdown and Time Stop. Beatdown isn't a problem, as it shouldn't hit you at all if you're positioned right. But when the boss time stops, you have to make sure you're using a stand with TS resist. Because if the boss decides to use Smite while you're frozen, you won't be able to get block broken and you'll get sent flying. Like I said, you can survive this, but it is not ideal and you don't want this to happen. Last thing to know is that for both methods, I used boxing rather than Hormone. The only reason I used boxing was for Demon Step, but it is faster to do both methods with Hormone for more damage, as Demon Step isn't even needed. Alright, for the first method, you're going to need any pilot stand. Tuskite 4 is by far the best, as it has the longest TS resist, highest damage output, and also lets you use nails to start the fight. This is personally what I would recommend you use, and it's what I'm going to be using for the demonstration. Anyways, here are the skill trees. Easy. For the second method, you're gonna need Star Platinum the world. In my opinion, this method is harder, but if you're struggling with the first, it's worth giving it a shot. Anyways, these are the skill trees.